Hello, everyone. On today's podcast episode, I'm going to be more scientific. Just like the other three episodes, I'm going to talk about duality and gravity. You know, many people do not understand how gravity works. Many people do not even know what gravity is. But from the point of view of duality, right? Gravity is no different from pressure. You know, something, what we've noticed is that places where energy is highly concentrated flow to places where energy is, has low concentration. So places where there's high pressure, you know, flow towards places where there's low pressure, right? And that's how gravity works. Many scientists, it doesn't cross many scientists' mind that gravity, is actually a pressure problem. You know, so let me give you an example. I've always used this example in every other part, every episode, almost every episode that I talked about duality. But for example, the Earth, right? From the point of view of human beings, the Earth is standing still, right? But from the point of view of the sun, the Earth is always moving. So you can say the Earth is standing still and moving at the same time, right? Duality, the two opposite aspects of duality exist simultaneously as one. For example, when you grab a rope, if you tie a rope around a tree, right? And you pull on the tree, because you're pulling on the tree, it automatically means equal and opposite is happening. The tree is pulling on you. When you grab the rope and you pull the rope, right? From your point of view, you're the one pulling the rope. So you're the one pulling the tree. The opposite is true as well. The tree is also pulling on you. The tree is also pulling, is also resisting the pull. And that's how gravity works as well. Here's another example. The human body is one, right? From one perspective, the human body is one. From a different perspective, the human body is composed of many, many, many atoms, right? From one perspective, the world is one. The world is God, because God is everything. From another perspective, from a scientific perspective, they don't see God anywhere. All they see is many, many, many different forms of energy. That's how this world works. So let me put gravity into perspective for you, right? Gravity is mass. Gravity works on mass and energy, right? So from what I've understand in science, right? Gravity is what pulls something with energy or mass together. Two objects, with mass together. But scientists do not truly understand what energy is. So something that has more mass or more concentration of energy, right? From one perspective, has more gravity. It pulls you towards it. From another perspective, it's equal and opposite. For example, the Earth has a lot more mass than humans, right? So humans are pulled towards the Earth because the Earth is heavier, or the Earth has more energy, right? But remember what I said earlier. Places of high concentration of energy always flow towards places with low concentration of energy. It means although the Earth is heavier, although the Earth has more mass, the Earth also has the lowest concentration of energy. So it's the equal and opposite. Just as a human being is one in many, right? From one point of view, the human is one. From another point of view, the human being is many. This is two dualities. One and many are two equal opposites. Push and pull are two equal opposites. So when something is pulling on you, you're also being pushed forward. When something pulls you, you're also being pushed. You're being pushed forward. From one point of view, you're being pulled. From another point of view, you're being pushed. Right? Just like the earth. From one point of view, the earth is standing still. The human point of view. From the people and the things on planet Earth, we are standing still. From the point of view of outer space, the earth is always moving. Right? That's exactly what's going on with gravity. From one point of view, gravity is pulling us down. From another point of view, Earth has so light, the concentration of energy on Earth is so light. And the concentration of energy in space is so heavy, is so high that everything gets pushed into the center of the Earth. Energy is flowing towards the center of the Earth because the center of the Earth is where the least amount of concentration of energy is. So although the center of the Earth has the most amount of mass, at the same time, it also has the least amount of energy concentration. Remember, empty space isn't empty. Empty space is filled with energy. And energy flows from what? Places of high concentration to low concentration. So gravity isn't pulling us. We're just falling towards the center of the Earth. That's how this duality of life works. When you pull on a rope connected to something that's standing still, right? Connected to a tree. While you're pulling on the rope is also pulling on you. While you're pushing on a tree, the tree is also pushing you. While gravity is pulling us, we're also being pushed. We're also, being pushed towards gravity, towards the center of the Earth. This is a world of duality, and both opposites exist simultaneously as one. So if you want to understand gravity, you just have to understand that places of high concentration of energy always flows to places of low concentration of energy. For example, you say, how is this possible, right? Think of empty space as a field of water. Like I said it before, energy is nothing more than what? An ocean of currents, an ocean of energy. It's always free flowing. That's what empty space is. Although you don't see energy there, there's always free flowing energy in there. So, for example, right? Although gravity pulls us towards the Earth, right? You would think that if you dive into water and just let yourself stay there, right? You float towards the center of the Earth. Or if you lie down on the ground, you float towards the center of the Earth. But do you know why you don't float towards the center of the Earth? Pressure. Pressure is pushing you up. The pressure, there's a high concentration of, because the Earth has a high concentration of energy. The ground will never, you always float on top of water. You float on top of water, and you float on top of what? The Earth as well. The reason why you can swim is because of, the reason why you float on water is because you're less dense than water, right? So when you swim inside water, the reason why you don't just sink down is because water is more dense than you. Because it's more dense, you float. Because the Earth is more dense. When you stand on the earth, you're always what? You don't fall through the earth, right? That's exactly what's going on, in space as well. Once you escape Earth's gravity, right? You're not actually escaping Earth's gravity. You're falling towards space. From one perspective, you're flying. From another perspective is the equal and opposite. You're falling towards space. And because of the density of space, you float in space. Just like you float in water. Just like you swim like fishes swim in water. You float in outer space because outer space is very dense. So from one perspective, outer space isn't dense at all. From another perspective, outer space is very dense. It's very filled with energy. Just like, the oceans on Earth is filled with energy and is very dense compared to the human body, right? Outer space is also very dense. It is filled with a lot of energy. So when we escape Earth's gravity, we're actually going against the pressure differences. Because remember, pressure goes from high concentration to low concentration, right? Places with high concentration of energy always flows to places with low concentration of energy. So when you go against that, that gradient, when you go against that flow, you're going against pressure. That's why it's hard for you to escape, Earth's gravity. That's why it's hard to escape Earth's atmosphere. It's because you're going against pressure. You're going against the flow of pressure. Atmosphere, from one point of view, is actually a place of very high concentration of energy. For example, right? Think of the atmosphere as just a massive body of water, right? When you escape Earth's gravity, right? You're pushing yourself towards a massive body of water. Once you enter that body of water, you start to float inside of it. That's why you float in outer space. Because outer space isn't empty. It is filled with a lot of energy. So from one point of view, you're escaping Earth's gravity and you're falling into outer space, right? From another point of view, you're going from a point of low pressure to a point of high pressure. Outer space is filled with a lot of pressure. So you're flying towards something with higher concentration of energy than you. And once you enter, outer space, because of the pressure differences, because of the density differences, you float inside outer space, just like you float inside water, right? If you dig into the earth and you stay there, you bury yourself, you'll be floating inside the center of the earth. Gravity gravity is still pulling on you, but now you're considered, we'll call it being buried, on earth. But from a different perspective, we're also floating inside the center of the earth. You're floating inside the center of the earth. And if you speed time up, you realize that the earth is always flowing. It's just not flowing as fast as water and air. Air flows faster than water. Water flows faster than the earth. But everything is always moving. This is why, our continents have shifted and changed over time, because the earth is always flowing. Think of it as a thicker version of water, a thicker ocean, an ocean of the earth, an ocean made out of earth itself. Different concentration of energy creates different, viscosities, different densities. But, even iron is also flowing, but it's flowing a lot slower, than the earth itself. So that's exactly how this world works, is that from one point of view, right? Because the earth is so dense, it is pulling us towards it. From another point of view, it's the equal and opposite. The center of the earth is so light. It's so, it has such low concentration of energy. We're falling towards the center of the earth. We're flowing towards the center of the earth. That's how life works. When you enter, when gravity pulls you into water, right? You no longer start flowing. You no longer gets pulled down because of the concentration of energy within water. Because of the density of water, you're stuck inside that water. You no longer fall down. Unless you're more dense than water, right? You will stay at the surface. You will float. That's how it is in outer space, but it's an equal and opposite. Outer space, from another perspective, is more dense than the center of the earth. Because it's more dense than the center of the earth. The earth and its own, the atmosphere of earth and earth itself is actually lighter than outer space. Because it's lighter than outer space, things tend, the high concentration of energy in outer space tends to flow into what? The low concentration of energy inside the center of the earth. The two opposites of duality always exist simultaneously. A human being is one. We have one mind. The world is one. It's God. It also has one mind. God is the one that creates this whole world. And everything in this world is God. Your entire body is one. And everything inside your body is you. Yet everything inside your body are their own separate individual beings. You have one atom, you have many atoms. All these atoms are their own separate entities. They move on their own. They don't even know you exist. Just like you don't think God exists, just like atheists do not think God exists. Your cells may never know that you exist. Yet all these cells come together to form you, one body. Both dualities exist simultaneously. You are one and many at the same time. You're one and infinite at the same time. You're finite and infinite at the same time. From one point of view, the earth is standing still. From another point of view, the earth is moving. From one point of view, when you pull on a rope, you're the one pulling the rope. From another point of view, the rope is the one pulling you. Both, opposites exist simultaneously. From one point of view, when you do push-ups, you're pushing against the earth. From another point of view, is the earth that's pushing against you. Gravity is nothing more than concentration, energy moving from places of high concentration to low concentration. That's all it is. The places with the greatest amount of energy is also equal and opposite. It's also places with the least amount of energy, with the least concentration of energy. This world works that weirdly. This world is that world of duality where both states exist simultaneously as one. Just like light. Scientists tell you that light particles are both, waves and particles at the same time. Both dualities exist simultaneously as one. Light is both a particle and a wave simultaneously. From one perspective, it's a particle. From another perspective, it's a wave. From one perspective, gravity is pulling us towards the earth. From another perspective, we're being pushed towards the earth. We're flowing towards the earth because the earth has the least amount of concentration of energy. From another perspective, it's the equal and opposite. The earth is so heavy. The earth has so much mass that it's pulling us towards it. From one perspective, the sun has the greatest concentration of energy, right? That's why it pulls everything towards it. From another perspective, it's the equal and opposite. The sun has the lowest concentration of energy. That's why space pulls energy from the sun. The sun is always releasing energy, even though it's the densest place in our solar system, right? Why do you think energy is always being released from the sun? Energy goes from places of high concentration to low concentration, right? So for the fact that the sun is releasing energy tells you what? The sun has the most concentration of energy, and space itself has the least concentration of energy. So because the space around the sun has the least concentration of energy, the energy within the sun flows out of it towards the place with the lowest concentration of energy. It's flowing out of the sun. The energy within the sun is flowing out of the sun towards Earth. It's flowing towards the outer galaxy, the outer solar system. At the same time, because the sun has the most concentration of energy, it's the densest place, it is pulling everything towards it. We're falling towards the sun. At the same time, the energy within the sun is being pulled out. While the sun is pulling us, the sun itself is being pulled out. The energy within the sun is being pulled out. So gravity is acting on the lights, on the solar flares within the sun. It's pulling this energy out of the sun, while the sun is pulling planets into it. The two equal and opposites exist simultaneously as one. While we're falling towards the sun is also falling towards us. That's how life works. Both dualities exist simultaneously as one. From one point of view, we exist. From another point of view, we don't exist. Existence and non-existence exist simultaneously as one. From one point of view, a magnet is positive. From another point of view, the magnet is negative. That's how life works. From the point of view of the sun, from the point of view of the earth is very warm. From the point of view of the sun, the earth is very cold. From the point of view of something hotter than the sun is very cold. From the point of view of the sun is very warm. The sun is the warm thing. Earth is cold, and there's something hotter than the sun. There are things in this world hotter than our sun. And from their point of view, from the point of view of objects hotter than our sun is the very cold sun. It's a very, very cold sun. But from the point of view of the earth, the sun is the one that's hot. We are the one that's, warm, at least cold. From the point of view of the moon, the moon is colder than the earth. The earth is the thing that's very, very warm. It is the cold thing, So life works off, perspective determines whether we're falling into the earth or we're being pushed into the earth, right? The reason why energy flows from high concentration to low concentration is because it's being pushed towards energy, it pushes itself towards places of low concentration. So the reason why we're falling towards the earth is because outer space is pushing us towards the earth. At the same time, the moment we fall towards the earth, do you know what's pushing us? The earth itself starts to push us against gravity. Water starts to push us against gravity. So we'll always be falling towards the earth, yet we will never truly fall towards the earth because we're always being pushed back. This world is a world of duality, and both states exist simultaneously as one. That's it for today's podcast episode. I'll talk to you guys later.